The number 666 doesn't only appear in the New Testament book of Revelation, it's also found in the Old Testament in a very unexpected place. Let's look at that verse. The weight of gold that came to Solomon yearly was 666 talents of gold. 1 Kings 10:14. Can this verse have something to do with the mark of the beast and possibly the name of the Antichrist? In a recent question and answer session during one of our conferences, Marquis Loughlin and I were asked this very question. Let's first look at how we answered it, kind of off the cuff, and then stay tuned for more details about the use of 666 in the Old Testament, both relating to Solomon and to gold.
All right, from way up here.
Hi, I'm Terry. About the first book of Kings where it mentions the 666 talents of gold, how does that possibly relate to the mark of the beast?
Oh, it's 66 talents of gold. That was a great question. The king who collected those 666 talents of gold was Solomon. And he is a very interesting character. As much as we like to think of him as a good guy, he was very much also a bad guy later in his career. So is that kind of a symbol or a picture in the Old Testament of what the Antichrist might look like?
Right, the height of man's kind of achievement, the height of as wealthy as you'd ever want to be idea. So yeah, it's attached to him. Some think that might be a clue to his actual name, that the Antichrist might be named Solomon, literally. The number of his name, because in a Jewish mind, if you said that 666, they'd go, huh? They'd know who you were talking about.
Now, that's not necessary, but
right.
I agree with that. It's possible.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of, Soleimani and I can't remember some of the Mohammed bin Salman. I think Salman is a Solomon is a derivative of the word Solomon. So I mean,
right? Yeah.
Who knows?
So there's Middle Eastern. That could come out of anywhere. So yeah.
Would you like to attend a conference like this one on Revelation, and in addition to a whole day of learning about that book, also ask any end-time question you want, just like in this example? Next year, Marquis and I and Pastor Jake McCandless will be doing conferences all over the USA. We've already formed a nonprofit organization, Last Days Overcomers, and we'll be rolling out a website in the next couple months. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, be sure to do so and check off that you want notifications so that you can find out all the details as they happen. Now, a lot of people have made guesses about what 666 means. Some have pointed out that barcodes are divided into sections by these unusual number sixes at the beginning, middle, and end of the barcode. Others have thought, well, maybe this is some kind of worldwide social security number. And still others have pointed out that 666 is the number of nautical miles between Mecca and the Temple Mount. Of course, very unlikely that something biblical or even Middle Eastern would use American miles, but I digress. But rather, as we pointed out in the video, it's better to use the Bible as a basis for what 666 might mean. Now, as Marquis and I discussed in this answer, 666 is associated with King Solomon. Thus, when the angel told John in Revelation that the number of the name of the beast was 666, that wasn't just some random number. Most Israelites in those days had great familiarity with the Tanakh, the Old Testament, and someone like Paul, like they had the whole thing memorized. So when the angel said 666 or 660 and 6 to John, it probably brought Solomon to his mind. Is Solomon then the name of the coming Antichrist? Well, maybe yes, maybe no. Just in case you'd like to know some Middle Eastern versions of Solomon, they are Shlomo, which is Hebrew, Soleimani, which is Iranian, Salman, as in Mohammed bin Salman, and Suleiman, which is Arabic. These are names I would keep in mind and just Remember that that's a possibility. The Bible, however, says we are to calculate or count the number of the beast. So maybe it isn't quite as simple as just Solomon. Maybe it involves the ancient system of gematria, in which each letter in a person's name had a number assigned to it, and you would just add up all the values of the letters of a name, and that would be the number of a person's name. However, even though Solomon might not be the name of the beast, it is also quite possible that King Solomon is a type or a symbolic representation of the coming Antichrist. To this channel, we don't believe that 666 was used in the Old Testament book of 1 Kings by accident. What are things that Solomon is best known for? Well, wisdom probably ranks right at the top. And what does the Bible say about the craftiness or wisdom of the Antichrist? In Daniel 8:23 we read, "And at the latter end of their kingdom, when the transgressors have reached their limit, a king of bold face, one who understands riddles, shall arise." Other translations call this understanding hidden things, and still others call it being skilled at intrigue. So the Antichrist will be like Solomon in this way. And although Solomon was given wisdom, the Antichrist will have a dark wisdom of a sort. Solomon is also well known for building the temple of God on the Temple Mount, Solomon's temple. Will the Antichrist also build a temple on the Temple Mount, the so-called third temple? Maybe he will. And we're going to talk about this just a little bit later in this video. Solomon is also well known for eventually turning away from worshiping God and worshiping the gods of his many wives, including Baal, or in other words, Satan, and building high places to him. Will the Antichrist build high places to himself, since he'll be most likely possessed by Satan? And the answer is almost assuredly he will. Finally, 666 is not just the link to Solomon, but to gold as well. Solomon received a tribute of 666 talents of gold each year. So will the Antichrist tax the world? Do I really have to ask that question? Of course he will. And obviously 666 is related to the mark of the beast, and it's related to economics, and thus it's related to gold. Currently, the central banks are quietly, artificially holding down the price of gold while inflation goes up and buying it up in large quantities. So gold is being consolidated in the hands of the few. When the economy crashes, it will still hold its value. Is 666 then a clue to this strategy by these evil men? And speaking of the third temple, do the two witnesses have any relation to the possible building of this structure that one day, is going to see the Antichrist sit in the holy place and proclaim himself to be God? We'll click right here and see how they will, and the possible rise of a false Elijah prior to that building. Till then, this is Nelson, and I'll see you there.